Hello, fellow LA Bree fans. How are you? Here laying a weapon on season 3, episode 4, Firestorm. The people at the fort, Myra Smith gets a ping on her laptop. She opens up her backpack. She opens up the laptop, turns it on. Even though I don't understand why it pinged when it was turned off. But anyways, that was a little miscue there on the show. And she gets a picture of Eve tied up. And Gavin says, "That's my wife." And she says, she's at the base. So somehow Eve's, when she got sucked into a time period, somehow ended at the army base. But they don't know if it's the army base in 10,000 BC they're looking for, or the army base in 2021 above the sinkhole they're looking for. Or it could be a completely different army base. They don't know. And then they ask Gavin, and Gavin says, "How the hell do they know I'm here?" She said, she lets the survivors know when they first landed there in the sinkhole in 10,000 BC, the army people has been watching them, studying to see how they survive, how they react, stuff like that. So she said, "We know about you and Eve." So they want the microchip. And Gavin's like, "I don't know where I stored it." He said, "I don't know what I did with it because my memory's all messed up because you found out last episode the army is responsible for all this time portals and causing sinkholes, not Gavin's father and the scientist. They found a time portal in the military base when they were building upon. It was like a deserted land, and they built upon it, and they found a time portal there. And they done experiments on it, sending test pilots through different areas of time to like help out win the war, stuff like that, to make different outcomes, different time periods. But you mess with the timeline, you mess with shit, right? But every time the pilots came back from the mission, they wiped the memories, so they don't remember any of this. So Gavin did remember stealing the microchip. So he says, well, Scott comes up with an idea. Scott says, what if, he said, I just remember something. He said, I'm an excavation kind of person. I excavate tar pits. That's my job up above in the 2021 timeline. It just so happens, before I got sunk down the sinkhole, I was going to meet Myra Smith for a job offering, and she kind of like nods her head that she remembers Scott and that, but she doesn't say nothing about it, right? So Scott kind of is skeptical about that. He says, but along the way, I got a call that his crew found a tar pit site, and they were going to excavate it, dig stuff up. So he said, what if we put a bottle in that with your message to 2021 timeline period, Gavin? So they stick a bottle in there, and suddenly, as we're at the tar pit doing it, Eve shows up. Izzy, I apologize. Izzy shows up. She's freaking out. Bruce's daughter's there, she's freaking out. And everybody said, what's going on? It's like, look behind us, and there's big like black smoke. And so Sam, Gavin, Lucas, they climb on top of a cliff edge, and there's a big wildfire. They don't know how it started, but it's coming to the fort. So they decide to evacuate people from the fort, to try to get away from the wildfire, but Ruth decides to stay behind because there's a dam they have hold up, that if they open the dam, a whole shitload of water, like a whole lake would come out between them and the wildfire and stop the spread of it. So Ruth asks us for help. So it's her, some couple tribe members, Judy F. He's drinking a bottle of wine as this is going on. I like that guy. Judy F. He's the guy in the intro picture with the glasses and the curly hair, long curly hair. Because every time shit hits the fan, he has to get a bottle of wine to help out. Him, Ruth, some tribe people, Lucas and Veronica, and Sam go to open up the dam where Gavin and the other people take off and try to get away from the wildfire in case it doesn't work. On the way, Lucas picks up this wolf coyote puppy, and it's her. So he takes it with him. Sam is kind of hesitant about it. And you kind of find out that when Sam was a teenager, there was a fire that spread for his street, and many of his friends and family died in the fire, including his dog. He didn't get him out of the fire in time in the house, so that's why he was skeptical to Lucas trying to save this wolf. Then poor Sam actually started to fall in love with this wolf and on the journey to the dam. The wolf takes off, gets scared because a fire thing, like a ball of fire, lands between them and scares the wolf. So Lucas and Sam go rescue the wolf. Ruth and them show up. Ruth, Veronica, the tribe people, and Judith, they actually get the dam open up, the water flows out and actually stops the spread of the wildfire. Then they turn to Gavin and the other group. They don't know that the wildfire's been stopped, right? They're still going, trying to evacuate people from the fort and that. And Gavin has a vision. And he stops like, holy shit, it worked. He said, 2021, he said, Scott, you found the bottle. It worked. You got the message to me. I know where the microchip is now. It's at a safety deposit box in a bank in 2021. So it kind of still screwed. Scott says, great. Then Gavin has another vision of this army general. It just shows like a set of arms reading a newspaper. And there's like scars, like a birthmark on this general's arm. And the paper was published by Scott. So Gavin says, did you publish about that note and the tar pit and that? And Scott's like, no, I didn't publish nothing. He says, bullshit. He says, I just had a vision of a newspaper clipping of you publishing stuff. And Scott tries to like act all like innocent. Then he takes off. So Scott knows something. Maya Smith says, I'll get him. You guys continue on getting people to safety. Scott and Maya run into each other. And Scott pulls up Maya's arm sleeve, and there's the birthmark. So she's the general that Gavin had the vision of. So Scott says, what the hell did you do? And next thing we know, she does something to Scott. We don't know what it is. We don't see what it was. When she arrives back with Gavin and all of them, and Ruth and everybody shows up saying, hey, we stopped the wildfire, the spread of the fire, we're safe, we can go back to the fort. Gavin's like, where's Scott? And she says, I couldn't find him. And they kept going. So she did something to Scott because he knows something. Did she kill Scott? Did she just knock him out, tie him up somewhere? We have to wait episode 5 or 6 to find out, folks. Now, last bit of the episode review. 2021 time period. Sam, Gavin, and Ty are at a restaurant trying to meet up with a friend of Gavin's. Sorry. Because try to get the military base. Suddenly, the mysterious one from last week shows up, takes Gavin away at gunpoint, and takes off with him. Come find out, she tells Gavin when they arrive at this cabin, they arrive at the bank, that she's his sister. And Gavin's like, I don't have a sister. She said, that's how bad the military wiped your mind. I'm your sister. And then she shows photos of her with Izzy, Josh, Eve, Levi. So he says, oh shit, I did have a sister. But then he remembers like, well, how come Eve, Josh, Izzy never said nothing about you? She said, to make you feel bad, we decided not to tell you that you had a sister until we figured out why your mind was all wacky and your memory losses. Now we know why. She said, you brought me a microchip. And said that the military base was responsible for time travel experiments. So she goes to the bank with Gavin. They retrieve the microchip. And then she takes him to this cabin that she owns. That her Gavin's father was working on in secret. And Gavin's like, you know you can't trust Dad, right? And she said, by the way, how is Dad in 10,000 BC? And Gavin informs her that he's dead. Had turned evil and stuff, so she kind of feels bad. And then they come across the blue and red time portals that's intertwined with each other. And Gavin says, why is that here? And she says, me and your father, and my father, she said, we found this. We were experimenting with it. The microchip can help us. She said, it's set to 2 time periods. 2021, 10,000 BC is the blue one. So you could go back and forth between those 2 time periods only, she said. And the red one takes you to one timeline and one timeline only, which is 1965. Suddenly, and then it goes and it shows Gavin and Sam. They've been searching for, Ty and Sam, they've been searching for Gavin. They get contact info by Scott, 2021 Scott. And he says, I found this bottle in this excavation site we were digging up from a tar pit. And it says, To contact Gavin at this number, or if I can't contact Gavin, contact Ty. If I can't contact Ty, contact Sam. So, Scar had contacted them, showed them the note, asking for Gavin 10,000 BC for 2021 Gavin to find the microchip and bring it back to 10,000 BC somehow. So, they find out where Gavin's at, and which they never explained how they found out where the cabin was. They just all of a sudden knew where the cabin was. They got there, and Ty decides to go through the blue portal with the microchip. Said, "Trust me, Gavin, I can do this." And he ends back up at 10,000 BC, and he arrives at the fort. Everybody's like, "Whoa, how you get back here?" And he says, "The blue portal takes you back home to 2021 a few weeks before the sinkhole happens, but can also take you back to 10,000 BC." Hands that Gavin the microchip. And he says, "Your sister tried to stop you." And Gavin's like, "My sister?" Then they flash back to when they arrived at the cabin. Sam took out Gavin's sister, roughed her to the ground, tussled with her, because come find out she wanted Gavin to go through the rib portal with the microchip, which takes you to 1965, which is where the military base first discovers the time portal. So she said, we were going to go there and destroy it, so none of this never happens. But Gavin decides to that Ty take it back to 10,000 BC to save everybody else. So she pulled a gun, Sam tackled her to the ground, stuff like that. Then in 10,000 BC, the episode ends when Sam hears about this. Says, so that red portal that my daughter Riley and your son's Gavin, your son Joss went through, only goes to one time period, 1965. They say, yes. So once we save everybody else, we could take that portal to 1965 and save our kids. That's how the show ends. It was super confusing with the back and forth time travel for 3 different timeline periods. Sorry if I missed some stuff, but like I said, I was trying hard to keep track of everything. They announced that there's no season 4 of L.A. Bree. There was going to be a season 4 if viewers picked up, but not enough viewers picked up for this show, unfortunately. So they're wrapping it up with 2 more episodes. Season 3 is only going to have 6 episodes. So they're trying to constantly rush everything to wrap everything up. So that's why they're making some mistakes in that. They sit online. Like for something, how did Ty and Sam just happen to know about this cabin where it was? They just happen to be there just like that. That didn't make no sense, right? That's why they're hurrying, wrapping this thing up. So next week's episode and the week after that is a 2-part series finale. Can't wait to see what's going to happen. I say it's going to be a lot of time travel and stuff probably. I hope not. I hope they just stick to 10,000 BC in 2021. They just wrap everything up. I'll answer more of these Easter eggs and stuff like that. Stay safe, everybody. Go and get ready to play some Spider-Man 2. Sweet. Bye.